everybody, all you history buffs out there. So we are starting today with Sirpa and me hosting, interviewing Evelyn Hoermann, formerly Opitz. She was a world champion, and we want to find out today a little bit about Paso Doble. Because Paso Doble, although I'm a Latin dancer at heart, I don't know a lot about it. I know that it has been danced very early on, but first I want to introduce Evelyn. Here you are. Hello.
Hello, Evelyn.
Hi, everybody. Oh, very nice that you invited me. Thank you very much. Shall I start already? Do you want me to start, or do you have some more words to say?
I thought I show you something. I wanted to share a slide with you here. Here you see what I found out in my research, and that is that the Paso Doble was already included the first time in 1920 in Paris. And our very own Josephine Bradley with her partner Kenny Anderson, they won it at the time. So once we work through our history, we will come about Josephine Bradley too. So I stop sharing now. So we see you again, Evelyn. So this is a little bit where I wanted to start, if you know anything about this. And then we merge into the time where you actually danced and how you found the Paso Doble at the time when you started.
Yeah, that was a very nice theme. Very interesting. I put something together and I brought you a very old book from Germany. And this dance teacher from Hamburg, he was a so-called mundane or sophisticated show dancer on the stages in Paris, 1920. They earned a lot of money by doing a show and by teaching dinner and dance, some dance steps for the social dancer. So the Paso Doble was for the show dancer, for the sophisticated show dance, was a show dance, but not a competition dance. It was about the cape and about the story of the Paso Doble. But these show dancers, they taught the social dance people how to do the basic steps. And they were all called out in French names, not in English names. So the French had a very big, important impact to work with the Paso Doble and to bring it from the stages into a competition field, to make a competition dance out of it. So I put down some certain names, and maybe everybody knows the book from Monsieur Pierre. And this old book says all the French names in the Paso Doble, like Le Chassé, I don't speak French very well, Sur Place, Déplacement, Huit, Le Cape, and so on. So the influence I learned, my first choreography, from a trainer called Monsieur Meyer. And if you remember Angelique Meyer dancing competition, that must have been her grandfather. It was her grandfather. I showed her pictures. So the family of Meyer took care of the choreography in the 50s and 60s when I started to dance.
Yeah. Wow. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I wanted to find out, do you think that the French names come from the fact that the first championships were held in Paris? I mean, for 2, 3, 4 years, it was all in Paris. And Monsieur Durinal, no? He was the one who ran them.
Yeah, so, maybe. Yeah.
And I think actually in our history, when we were doing a lot of demonstrations in France and in Paris, for example, they danced it as a social dance, the Paso Doble. but all those basic figures and march style, and these people knew it from kind of passing in the family heritage also. So it's beautiful that it actually we so much engage the Spanish origin, but actually this French origin is very strong for these names we use also, or the figures we use in our technique nowadays.
Yes.
Yes.
And as far as I know from, again, also not old movies, but movies, the Paso Doble was really like the merengue, two steps. That's why it's Paso Doble, 2 steps. So it was the side step, side step, side close, and then you would go into circles and probably shape a little bit, and you see it beautiful depicted in some big movies with our famous Paso Doble dancers of the time. So I will try and find that footage also, and will bring it to our our history buffs and show it to the people.
Yeah, it was like a fun dance. It was a parody of this bullfight. So they had much fun dancing socially the 2-step.
Yes.
And especially the word 2-step or 1-step, 2-step was at that time very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know a German dance school in Berlin, dance school Keller, and they taught the basic surplace, appel, attack in Berlin in the beginner class.
Yes.
And it was part of the World Dance Program.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And it faded a little bit out at some point in time. Definitely in the dance schools.
Yeah.
It was popular, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought to merge into maybe more recent times that you have witnessed, I wanted to share a video with you from Karl Breuer dancing at his time. If I can find it.
Yes. Vorgänger und die Rivalen Hamburger waren die zweifachen Weltmeister, die Breuers. Haben wir Rücken Nummer 3. Vorgänger und Erzrivalen der Hamburger waren die zweifachen Weltmeister, die
With La Passé.
Yeah.
And they have the big skirts.
Yes.
Fall away. That I don't recognize. You maybe do, Evelyn.
Yeah. They were heavy. And always back to the surpluses.
Yeah. And separation.
Yes, separation.
And Fregolina. Parole. Wow. And coup de style.
And always back to the dancing hold.
Yes. Never letting the lady go.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful, Brigitt. I love that video.
We used to work a lot with skirts, to move skirts.
Say that again. I'm not sure if it came because it was crackling a bit. Say it again.
We learned to move the skirt. If we were far away from the partner, we used the free arm to push the skirt away, or some years later, 2 hands, and we worked the dress so that it was always moving.
Okay.
And of course, that frill dress, in a way, what you were wearing, reminds us about the Spanish, like when they have the ladies' long dresses, and which they also move around themselves. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you ever? Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, you are.
Oh no! Did you ever try to kick it with the leg as well, to move it with the leg?
Yes. Okay. There were leg kicks also.
Yeah.
Leg first the knee to get the skirt off,
flying,
and then the rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
One by one.
In flamenco, it's called
what was also very important, we did not have dance shoes with non-skids at that time. We had normal summer shoes, and we put a special sole we had to glue underneath normal shoes. In the 60s, 50s, 60s, where they didn't have dance schools, dance shoes. So we were restricted in our possibilities to move.
Yeah, you had to wing it. I remember you were telling me about your mother after the war, when they had nothing, they would use shoes with hinges out of wood.
Yeah. She had really wooden soles with a hinge to make a releve with her feet.
The things we did, right? And it was unbelievable. And also you said that she was sewing from parachutes, her dresses.
From the curtains from the living room.
And parachutes, I heard also some ladies were sewing their dresses from the silk because they were made from silk. The old parachutes. Anyways, interesting. So now, when you competed, where did you take your cues from? Who were the teachers that were famous for Paso Doble?
Yeah, that was Monsieur Meyer.
Yeah.
I didn't understand a word he was saying because he couldn't repeat it. If I said, please repeat so that I could copy, he forgot. He was not able to do it twice, and never mind counting it. It was just feeling do this, and he was so creative. And at the end, we had to decide on our own how we would like to perform it at the end. It was not easy to understand him. It was a certain time where we did not have the connection to London, to England. And, after that, I learned most from my vision. I learned most from Lorraine, because at that time, Voigtelaert was still working in daytime, and he only arrived late afternoon. And then he said, show me. And Lorraine took care, and she showed me how she moved, and I copied her.
And how did Wolfgang do it then? Like,
he was very he was very caring, because he always asked me, "Can you do this? Shall we do this? Another turn here, fill up here. What do you think? Shall we go left or right?" So we were mainly on our own decisions. We got the inspiration, but we had to work on. It was not the end product. It was never the end product.
And have you ever worked with John Delroy? Because I think
no, not me.
Not you.
No,
okay.
Not me.
I have.
Yeah. Okay, so let me show another slide where we see some of the dancers around your time. Evelyn, you're not in it. Do please apologize. So here it is. So on the very left, you see Carl still in the tail suit. Yeah, that must have been so restricting. I think all the arm movements were restricted, right?
Yes, we were only allowed to lift the arms not above shoulder level.
Yeah.
There was a rule.
The hand is a little higher here when you look at Carl, but it's just the hand. The elbow is just shoulder level, right?
Yeah.
So is that forbidden in a way at that time, or is that allowed?
At that time, in the 60s, when I started, it was also in the other dances, not higher than shoulder level.
Okay, yes.
Because we got a comment from Alex Moore, and he said, Opitz, the couple Opitz is dancing flamboyant. Their arms and hands are too high.
And nowadays flamboyant would be a compliment, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's funny.
But another interesting thing is, when I danced my first Latin American professional championship, we had only 4 dances to dance in the competition, not 5. The tempo was still in the Latin American field. So they had European and World Championships with 8 dances, not
Yes.
with 10 like today.
Mm.
So the tango then went into the ballroom chapter, and in came the jive, and the latest dance was the cha-cha-cha.
Mm.
Eight
And
different
what is the exact
bands.
year when tango changed to ballroom? Do you remember?
56, in the middle of the 50s.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, let me show the slide again. So then we see Match and Rudi Trautz.
Yes.
There you see already the suit has changed
Mm.
Smoking, yeah.
to normal smoking. And then when we go on here to Mick and Lorna, they are already wearing a cat suit. And Wolfgang was the one that introduced the cat suit, right? Tell us a little bit about this, because you were
Yes.
almost banned from dancing because of that.
Yeah, they wanted to disqualify us in the first round in Blackpool. You are improperly dressed.
Oh, okay.
So please change. You are improperly dressed. And Wolfgang said, I'm sorry, I have nothing other than this cat suit with me.
Mm.
So
And
they had to allow him.
okay. So he actually started this trend. I remember I've been told this before as well.
Yeah, he wanted the freedom. It was that era where we started to isolate more, and we used our upper body more, and we wanted to do more, to move more. And that was not allowed, because always this coming back to the roots from the social dance being sophisticated, elegant, aesthetic, and they feared that it goes into a wrong direction.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that was anyways a thing at the time, very protective of the style, right? And the dancers were always the ones that pushed it, because I mean they had to do it, right? So here's administrators that tell you what to do and what not to do, but here's the dancer on the floor. And I think that also the style changed again, Evelyn, right? Once the cat was there, because now you could move the arms, the guys could bring up the arms, because with the shoulder pads from the tail suit and the stiffness of the materials, that was determining a lot of the style, I believe.
And the shoes, they're very stiff.
And that.
I need to ask you now, because you probably know who made Opitz's or Wolfgang's cat suit. Like, what was the material you used on the bottom of the trousers? Because honestly, this had to be very stiff thing, because it was so stretchy, the material, wasn't it? So there was like a hardening, or how do you call it, like something hard there.
I can't remember. He went to the ice skater, to the tailor for the ice skater, and there was a little hook underneath the shoe.
Elastic, yeah.
The elastic hook held the trousers down to give it a stretch.
Yeah, because I remember Michael Stylianos, he came very early, like I was still maybe 11, 12 or something. He came to Finland and he left. Then it was no more catsuit. It was the trousers, but with this same material and stretchy. And the bottom had to be made hard. So my father used to work for the wood factory, which was making paper. And when you produce paper, you produce this material, which is like called cellulose or something like hard. And he had to make all the boys in our club, he had to make these bottoms of the trousers so that they stay. So in the end, he ended up also sewing the trousers, because there was no ladies who would make trousers like that for any men, you know.
But very clever.
I remember in Düsseldorf there was one tailor, Meyering. He would do all the pants and suits for all over the world, for people all over the world. And I believe it was cardboard that they put into the trousers. Your dad did whatever.
No, but it was kind of like it came as a side product of a paper factory. So maybe it was exactly cardboard. I wasn't quite sure what they put in there.
Yeah, and it would, if you were unlucky and you had a water damage, then that whole thing would You know, it would soak. Soak. Yes.
I would like to give you another story I learned last year from Alexandra Vlad. She was brought up in Spain. The story why we dance to Espania Cani. It's always the same musical piece, sometimes different pieces, but this Espania Cani is so special. And what she told us, our trainer, she said when she learned flamenco, they told her that there was a shoemaker who also had an orchestra, and he played for the flamenco dancers, and they asked him for a new piece of music, and he had no time. He was out of time, and he was in stress, and he was sitting with his whole orchestra in a very, very old train, you know, with a steam, where the steam comes out. And so when this machine got going, it started and that was the basic rhythm he put down. And there it started with Espania Cani, and it was so popular by the normal social public that I don't know the title then, it was not Espania Cani, but because it was such a hit, they put it to the bullfighter and played it in the arena.
Yes.
Yeah. It's an interesting research subject, because how did the music develop? Because I know that at that time, most of the cues came, of course, from Europe, and it was the marching dances. And Paso Doble is, again, a marching music with the brass and the instruments that came from Europe. No?
And actually, like if you listen, for example, Empress Orchestra, I know Irving Titchwell already started it, and also Ashley has continued the tradition that they play the Ole, Torero, Amparito Roca, which are really the mass songs, as you said, which the French people were dancing into, weren't they?
Yeah.
So we talked about Carl Breuer and your own career. So how did you meet on the dancing floor? Who was there before?
No, we never met, because I had to dance directly professional, and Carl was dancing amateur. With Ursula, he only danced amateur. It was more or less parallel.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm talking about professional.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Very interesting, I think. And then at some point in time, I think there came a bit more influence from the Spanish dancing into the Paso Doble, right? From the flamenco. Yeah. And then, because we were still all told we were the Cape, you know, as future dancers. And then we started emancipating at some point in time and said, no, we are Spanish dancers. And I think then there more influence came in from Spain, correct? Is that correct?
I found out that Mick and Lorna were very in it to develop it, I felt. And Espen did. Espen.
And I'm not sure about Espen, but I know Mick and Lorna, they really worked a lot with John Delroy. John Delroy also brought, because he was very famous for that. But if Evelyn, because you say that they say to you that you were too flamboyant with your arms. So do you remember that you would have looked for the Spanish arms or like a flamenco?
No. Okay. No, because you saw we always had to get back to the dancing hole. Okay. So it was only turning out and in and back to dancing hold. Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember Opitz and I, we once went to a ballet teacher at the Hamburg Ballet, but then we were already finalists in the Blackpool, and Opitz tried this ballet teacher, and it went wrong. So because there, he didn't know our basics. He didn't know the appel. He didn't know the chassé cape or the wheat or whatever, twist turn and so. So he made a choreography which was too far out. So we never danced it. We did it once and it didn't work. It didn't appeal.
Okay.
It didn't have the base.
Yeah.
So when, for example, the Troutsies, I've met them, of course, and been close to them in life otherwise, but I haven't seen them obviously dancing on the floor. Were they also, because I think that time already they were more opening, like they were not always going back to the hold.
No, but they kept more to the basics. They kept more to what the judges wanted to see. Yeah, Opitz was very experimental, especially in Cha-Cha-Cha later, but also he tried in Paso, but
I thought what you
had
were
no foundation, not what we are looking for. Yeah.
What you were talking about, this twirling out and coming back in and into hold and then twirl this way and come back in. I think that was so obvious also in that little movie clip from Carl Boyer. And there are other clips out also from Bill and Bobby dancing in the Royal Albert Hall in the late 50s, early 60s, where I had the feeling, yeah. But in Paso in particular, I think this rolling out, rolling back in was the thing, right?
Yeah. And I remember a very funny story. And we had, like, around the world, the man was kneeling and leading the lady around the neck. And I had a competitor, he was wearing glasses. So when he started to lead her around, his glasses went down to here, and she came around, she put his glasses on, and on he went. So it was so funny.
all help for your partner.
All in a competition.
This was fabulous, Evelyn. Thank you so much. I think you have really enlightened us here upon things also, you know, how it is when it doesn't all go so easily, you know, like you said, with the shoes, and we have to figure it all out. Today, I think, you know, our materials are so developed and everything, and the tanning products and the hair and the dress, you have it all done. I mean, we all know still how it was, but you know much more how to, you know, the dresses were made and all that. So I'm sure we will see you again because you have so much to offer to us. And I know that we see you again already very soon because I heard you want to show us a step. What is that?
That is called the Salvador.
Yeah.
Ole.
Okay.
Yeah, ole.
Thank you so much, Evelyn. And as I said, we will see you again.
Thank
Nice.
you.
Thank you.
Ole.
Nice evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.